You ever wonder why it seems that some people set goals that really change their lives, and then other people set goals and they end up just kind of spinning their wheels over and over again? If you're sick and tired of setting goals that look good on paper, but don't move the needle in your life and your business, then this episode is for you. So, when it comes down to setting goals, there are a few main reasons that we humans fail at setting good goals and really following through and achieving them. And by the way, I'm with you on this. I'm not talking at you, I am talking with you. I am guilty of all of these things as well. We are ambitious people, we strive to do a lot, and the fact of the matter is that we don't follow what we know is the right thing to do a lot of the times. So, in this episode, I'm going to share a few reasons why goals don't work, and then I'm going to walk through a step-by-step plan that you can implement right away to set goals and follow through on them in the coming year. So the first reason that we don't achieve our goals is that we don't have a clear vision of what we want. So an example of this might be, I want to grow my revenue and my profit in 2025. But without a clear defined number, how do we know if we're even succeeding with that? It's too vague of a goal to get our heads around it. It's too vague of a goal to share with our team and the other stakeholders that are going to be involved in actually achieving that goal. And it doesn't really mean anything. The second reason is that we focus on the wrong activities. So a goal is awesome and gets us all excited in January, but if you don't backfill it with the daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly activities that we need to do to achieve that goal, then we're not going to get there. So an example might be, I need to grow my business, and you focus too much time on, building your website or tweaking your logo or doing something that really doesn't move the needle. So we need to look at our goals and say, what are the mission critical activities that I need to do on a regular basis to get me toward that ultimate goal? The third reason is that we rely on willpower over systems. I'm big on daily habits. I'm big on daily discipline, on doing things every single day, regardless of whether I have the willpower, if I'm tired, if I'm sick, I'm not feeling it. I'm big on making sure that those activities are in the calendar and those are being done every day. So that's a system that I use. Everyone has to adopt a system that they can use to ensure that they are making continuous progress on those goals and not just relying on willpower and doing those activities when you feel like it. The fourth reason, and this is extremely common, I am guilty of this one, man, is overwhelm, okay? We all get overwhelmed and we get stuck in the weeds of our business trying to do too much, trying to do that $20 an hour work. We know that we should be delegating and elevating so that we can work on those important things. So whether that means automating some things, hiring someone, delegating to someone inside your company, recruiting other people, consultants from the outside to help you, we need to get more people involved in helping us achieve those goals so that we can get out of the weeds and operate on a higher level. So all of these things, having vague goals, focusing on the wrong activities or really not focusing at all, we're trying to rely on willpower over systems, and then really getting bogged down in the weeds of the business lead to a lot of frustration and burnout and feelings of like, man, I never accomplished my goals. And then that leads to feelings of self-doubt and decreased self-worth, right? And we've all been there, but I will let you know that it's not your fault. It's not that you are a bad person or you're a non-successful person. It's that you just don't have a system for setting goals. And so what I'm about to share with you is a plan that I've developed over the past decade, really 11 years of entrepreneurship, reading books, applying books, going to events, being in coaching programs, having business coaches and things like that. These are things I've distilled that work for me. This is not the only way, but I do want to share a plan forward with you. Before we get into that plan, I want to remind you that ultimately we need to take action, okay? We can watch videos or listen to audio podcasts like this one. We can read books. We can go to seminars. We can do all of the things, but unless we actually take action on these things, then nothing's going to happen. So the plan I'm about to lay out is designed for you to take immediate action on this. Like after you listen to this or watch this, carve out some time today, tomorrow, this week to put pen to paper and to set some of these goals. So just like I shared 4 reasons why goals don't work or we don't achieve our goals, I'm going to share 4 steps to the plan that I have developed to enable me to have a higher probability of achieving my goals. So the first thing is to have a vision. Stephen Covey talked about it in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Start with the end in mind. What does complete look like? What is that end goal that we were going for? Now, you might have your goal for the next year, but you should put that in the framework of what do I want to achieve in 10 years, in 5 years, in 3 years, and kind of work your way back to how does that 1 year goal fit into the larger picture. So for example, if you're building, your goal is to build a $5 million company, $5 million a year revenue company, which is great. There's going to be certain things that you want to put in place to get you to that $5 million company. And there's going to be a cadence and a timeline by which you operate. There are other people that might want to build a $100 million company. So the things that you're going to want to put in place, your timeline, they're going to look vastly different. So I just threw out a couple of random round numbers there. 5 million, 100 million. We hear that all the time. And hey, guess what? I'm guilty of it as well. We pick a round number for a goal. 10 million, 50 million, 100 million. When I talk with business owners, which I do every day because it's what we do, I really have a lot of, respect for the people that are like, all right, I did 4.7 million this year. Our goal next year is 6.25. I'm like, wow, okay. Because I know, or I have a good feeling that that number comes from something or something to back that up, right? Instead of just a pie in the sky number that doesn't really give me a lot of confidence that goal is going to be achieved. So start with that vision, with what you want, and then create those SMART goals. I'm sure you've heard the acronym SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. I can do another video on establishing SMART goals, but make sure your goals are specific. Make sure they're measurable. Make sure they are achievable. Make sure they are relevant to your long-term vision, and make sure that they are time-bound, like you have a deadline for them. So that's going to increase your chances of crushing those goals. Second part of the plan is to figure out who can help you get there. If you're anything like me, I grew up in the construction industry in my family's 100-year-old business as a 6th-generation family member. I started out working in a shipyard in Brooklyn, New York, with my hands, doing the most manual of manual labor that you can imagine. So I have it in my brain, I have it in my heart, in my stomach that I need to do the work. I need to be the one that rolls up my sleeves and gets this thing done. And it's only been over the last couple of years that I've been inspired and coached on the concept of who, not how. Who Not How is an excellent book by Dr. Benjamin J. Hardy. And the whole premise of the book is that I, as the leader, as the business owner, do not need to figure out how to do everything. I need to find a who that knows how to do that thing. And it's about putting the right people in place and coaching them up and leading them up. So think about that concept. You might have different who's in your business. You might have different who's in your family, in your inner circle, in a mastermind that you might be in. There might be who's out there that you need to recruit and bring them on to your company. So you as an owner don't need to figure it all out. That was a game changer for me. The third part of that plan is to set measurables and review them regularly, okay? So example, say I did $3 million last year in revenue. We want to get to 5 million next year. Well, I'm not just gonna set that pie in the sky goal and not review the activities and the progress that we're making. Because guess what? Again, been there and done that. And let me tell you, that does not work. So I want to save you the trip to that not so great place. All right. So what we do now is we as a company, Contractor Dynamics, we follow the EOS system, Entrepreneurial Operating System, and we use a software called 90 within that system. And within that 90 software, we have a scorecard for each department of our company. We have a scorecard for our leadership team, which is our overall company, a scorecard for our sales team, marketing team, and our fulfillment team, which would be production for a roofing or contracting company. So leadership, marketing, sales, and production, we have a scorecard for each one of those. And we add the data to those scorecards on a weekly basis, and we have weekly meetings for each of those departments. We review every department's scorecard in those departmental meetings, and we have our targets, we have our metrics, and then we have the actual data for every single week. So if there's data points that are below our target, we identify, discuss, and solve those issues that are surrounding those data points. So that was a lot I just threw at you, but the concept is to have data points that you're reviewing on a regular basis so that we can pivot, so that we can switch, adjust strategy if need be. We can fix things on a weekly basis rather than on a monthly or a quarterly or annual basis. We need to be adjusting strategy, improving things every single week. that has been another game changer for Contractor Dynamics. And the fourth part of that plan is to review your goals and your targets on a regular basis and reaffirm them to yourself. So I've been guilty, once again, I'm sure a lot of you have too, is setting goals in that first week of January. You put them in maybe a little notebook like this, you put them in a Google Doc, you put them in the Notes app on your phone, and you never look at them again until the next year when it comes time to set goals. You review them, you're like, man, I didn't really achieve much last year. Well, it's because you didn't review them on a regular basis. So what I do is I use the Notion app on my phone, and I have in there my goals, my vision, core values, my 10-year vision mapped out, all written out in there. And a few times a week, I can't say every day, but a few times a week, I will read those aloud to myself. So I'm reaffirming my goals a few times per week. And subconsciously, that is driving my actions on a regular basis. That's extremely important. Might sound a little woo-woo, might sound a little out there, but if it's right in front of us, if it's something we're seeing every day, then we have a much higher likelihood of actually achieving that goal. So those are the 4 parts of my plan. Have a crystal clear vision. Focus on who, not how. Have clear measurables and review them on a regular basis. And then review and affirm your goals to yourself on a regular basis as well. All right, so that wraps it up. I am curious to hear what you got out of this episode. Please comment below the YouTube or the podcast, or send me a DM on Instagram at HeyJosephHughes and let me know what you got out of this episode. We'll love to hear your feedback because that's going to help me to create more content for you in the future that'll be relevant to you. Also, make sure you smash that subscribe button because in the very next video, we're going to be walking through how getting in a community of like-minded people can accelerate your growth toward your goals. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.